Good evening, everybody. We're back at it again. We've got another week of content done and another week of vaults to open up. We do have quite a few vaults this week to open, so we're going to start with what's, in my opinion, going to be the least impactful vault, all the way up into the most impactful vault, the one I'm most excited for, which is going to be the Warlock this week. We did a lot on the Warlock, so I'm excited to see what we open up there. Least impactful, though, we're going to start with the Warrior. We did not do very much on the Warrior last week. We've kind of been dwindling the amount that we're actually playing the Warrior lately, mainly because when it comes to tanking, Prot Paladin has kind of taken the limelight there and is a much better choice for Mythic Plus tanking in general right now. Guardian Druid's kind of up there as well. I've been kind of teetering between trying out Guardian Druid and making the swap over there, but with the emergence of Protection Paladin, we've kind of started to make a swap over to that. So I believe the Warrior only got one, maybe two keys done that last week, so he doesn't have too much in his vault. We'll get logged in here. We are at the vault in Protection Loot Spec, and we'll see what we can get. It's not going to be anything too crazy. Wouldn't be surprised if we end up taking tokens this week. Especially because if you look at it, Spare Meat Hook, it's the exact same trinket that I got last week. Couple item levels higher, right? But not that worth it. So Warrior just takes tokens, gets them up to 4 tokens. We'll figure out what we're going to spend those on later if we continue to play the Warrior, but I'm not too concerned about that. In addition to that, I have been playing the Priest a lot more as well, getting some gear on that. So when it comes to role-wise, I've been doing a lot more healing than damage than tanking, right? So we're going to log on to the Paladin next. We're going to see what the Paladin ends up getting. Did a little bit more on him. Didn't do too much, though. Again, probably not going to be that impactful of a vault. Again, Protection Loot Spec. And we'll see what options we've got rolling up here. Okay, there we go. Took a second to show up, so I was a little concerned. Looks like we do have the Emergency Stop Keychain, which is a solid choice, honestly, for a lot of classes. The Big Mastery Little Haste tends to be pretty good. And then we also do have a Hero One Hand. I'm not entirely sure what embellishments Protection Paladin runs right now. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same that almost everybody's using. Let's take a double check here. We will look at embellishments. And yeah, it looks like we're not going to take the one-handed mace because we're going to do a crafted mace instead on the Paladin with the Dark Moon Sigil Ascension. So, more than likely, the upgrade's going to be for this Emergency Stop Keychain because the other veteran track items just really aren't that worth it. So, we'll take this Emergency Stop Keychain and we'll call it good on the Paladin. Solid choice. 10 item levels on the neck. Better track, right? So, I'm always good for that. Next, we'll pull up the Priest. We do have quite a few options on the Priest. We did get a full clear of Heroic on the Priest, so we got some tier gear last week. And kind of a lot of keys done. I don't think we pushed into the 10 realm on the Priest last week, so we're probably just looking at hero track items and kind of seeing what's going to be better. One of the raid options that we got or one of the key drops. We're in Discipline Loot Spec. Let's take a look. Wowzers. Okay, we do have a lot of really good choices. Seal of the Poison Pact, right? I've gotten this so far on quite a few characters. Healers specifically, mainly the Shaman. The Shaman got this in the Vault, not the Vault, it was the complete 4 Mythic Dungeons and get a hero piece of gear. So we did end up getting that on the Shaman, and it's been paying dividends, realistically. So, very happy with that. It doesn't look like that ring is a very good choice for Discipline Priest, nor do I think the Eggshell is a very good one. In general, just doesn't look like we have a ton of good choices, but the item level increase to that alone might end up making it the best choice for me this week. And then we have it, just kind of in case we don't get any drops throughout the week. This offhand is actually one of the better choices for offhands if I don't do a crafted staff, which is what I'm leaning towards anyways on this guy. So Yeah, it also might be just out of availability for gear on this guy right now, honestly. Not very many good choices. I think that eggshell's not terrible, but it's definitely not a good choice. I'm just gonna take the poison pact, honestly. We're just gonna send it with that. It gets us up from an explorer ring, right? That's gonna be big upgrades from the explorer ring. So 606 all the way, 608 now, right? That was a good jump in item level, almost 609. But now we start narrowing things down, right? We got the shaman. I know I did heal quite a few 10s on the shaman last week, so we've got a couple of myth options waiting for us. And I know I also did get quite a few dungeons and heroic bosses killed on the warlock. So we've got some first-time myth options for the warlock this week. I'm very excited to see how some of those work out. So we're in restoration loot spec for the shaman. Don't need too many pieces on this guy. We're pretty well kitted. Got a lot of good trinkets, good options in general. But a myth sack brood does seem pretty damn good. Hero staff, not doing that, right? We run crafted main hand and shield. The hero creeping coagulum, not very useful for shaman right now, especially because I use other stuff in general. Chalk stitch drape comes in crit mastery. We don't care too much for mastery, so I'm probably not going to end up taking that one regardless. And we've got the very rare cloak from Rashanon anyways. But then, yeah, we got the sack brood, myth track. We've also got a myth track staff. Again, we use crafted. Haste versatility, not too big on the haste. Would rather have it be crit or something like that. But myth sack brood, we definitely take those. That's going to be a solid choice there on the shaman. Now we got 2 myth trinkets, so that's kind of cool. Swap that bad boy out. A little bit of a downgrade right now just because we got to get a couple item level upgrades on it, but not a big deal. That's very good choice on the shaman this week. I'm pretty happy about that. And now we come in for the final event. We did get 4 10s timed on the warlock last night. Was just kind of wrapping up the week, figuring out what we wanted to do, and just decided to start pulling the trigger on trying to get some 10s. Had some buddies help get in there because they didn't take the warlock in like 7s and 8s and stuff like that. So got a couple of buddies to help out. Got a lot of these done. We're in destruction loot spec. We did socket a bunch of our gear. Should have probably waited until we open this, but we'll see what happens. All right. What do we have here? We do have Treacherous Transmitter. Not worried about that. We run 2 very solid trinkets on the warlock already. The Hero Locket with Crit Haste might actually be one of the better options because the crit is what we're mainly looking for, honestly, as a Destro nowadays, right? We get a lot of crit from a lot of different sources. Certain talents increase the amount that we get, all sorts of stuff like that. We then also have the option for Myth Track Pants, which I think is a very good choice, being able to get that upgraded a little bit more. We do have a Myth Track Ring right there, which is haste versatility. I think I just disenchanted a hero version of that yesterday, so probably not going to take that one. Offhand, we're using a 636 staff, so we're not going to take the offhand. Then we just got the veteran belt down here. Not going to worry about that. The item level is not even worth it. So honestly, for me right now, it is between the 613 neck with good stats, or just getting ourselves upgraded into myth pants. So we'll see what the actual sim comes out as. So let's go ahead and we can do a raid bots. We'll pull this up and we'll run a top gear. We'll paste this in and we'll do a couple different ones. So we'll duplicate this tab real quick. So the first one, we're going to make sure we select the locket and the pants, right? Those are what we're choosing between. And then we're going to do 5 bosses 2 minutes. So this is going to be our AoE run. We're going to come through necklace and pants. And then we're going to go down to the bottom and do 1 boss for 5 minutes. Both patchwork, just so that way we can kind of see what's going on here. And we'll look at what the sims end up saying. This is something that I haven't shown on the stream before, just kind of why I'm making these decisions. I've talked to it, but I figured this would kind of be a good little, almost like a little preview of kind of how I'm reading this kind of stuff. It just shows the information. Looks like for single target, it is going to be the pants by a good amount. Let's see, the ring in single target only gives us about 2,000 DPS, and the pants with everything else end up being significantly more. So it ends up being about a 13,000 DPS increase for the pants. And it looks like in AoE, we're looking at largely the same. So kind of lets us know top choice here, right? This selection here that we made. It adds the enchants on here because I've got it set to just sim me with those better enchants. That doesn't really change too much. So looks like the myth pants on the warlock are going to be the way to go. If we really need the Locket of Broken Memories, the big crit little haste necklace, we can try to get that in the future. They did nerf avoidance this expansion as well, so it's not nearly as good as it used to be. But we'll take some myth pants. And then we'll take a look here at the affixes for our keys. So it looks like we've got the Xalatath's Bargain Ascendant, Tyrannical, Fortified, right, because it's a 10, but we start with Tyrannical this week, right? So your lower keys are going to start with that and kind of bump themselves up from there. So that is all that we've got for you today. I appreciate everybody stopping by and watching the Vault video. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and you'll get notifications when I publish my weekly vaults. And check out my Twitch stream as I go live later today, and we'll start doing some keys, do some professions, and start kind of getting the rest of our characters set up for the rest of the season. Thanks again, and everybody have a great night.